Welcome. You are listening to Caregiving Secrets with Deborah Greenhut. If you are a family caregiver or expect to be one, and you want to maintain your well-being while caring, then you are in the right place. I am your host, Deborah Greenhut, speaker, author, and rational caregiver advocate. I'm a family caregiving veteran, bringing you survival secrets and experiences from experts who share the goal of doing less by managing more. We need to invent and reinvent family care, and together we're going to do it. My big idea is rational caregiving, and my motto is, let your brain lead your heart. Please share yours in the comments. Caregiving Secrets, because friends don't let friends be caregivers alone. Let's do this. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Caregiving Secret. My guest today is a friend of the pod. Her name is Jennifer Takagi, and you may have seen her on her first episode, where we talked a lot about Jennifer's caregiving experiences and about her magical projects. So I'm going to ask you a question first, Jennifer, and then you can introduce yourself. I am thinking of a number between 1 and 20. What do you think it is?
I'm going to go with 12. I'm going to go with 12.
You got it. Take it away. Tell us about yourself.
Deborah, it's so good to see you again. Just FYI, I've met a lot of people online, but I met you first in person. So we met in Dallas at Speakers Playhouse Live. So then we've been to other things, many things together. So I'm super happy to be here and to be invited back on your show. It's so exciting. So I've always been a teacher type person. I remember as a little kid lining up all my stuffed animals, and I had a little chalkboard, and I would teach my stuffed animals what to do. And that has followed me, this whole idea of teaching, in multiple positions I had, both in corporate and federal government. I would teach and train, and I just loved it. And it just was like a natural path and progression. It was never my actual job assignment. It's just kind of what I did. And I had lots of skills. And in that caregiving mode, I ended up with a special talent that friends have actually reached out for. And that is, I write very quickly. And when I'm in a room with medical people and they're delivering a lot of information, I can write almost as fast as they talk. So when we go back to look at what happened and everybody has created stories around those scary words, I'm like, that's not what they said. I have it right here. My sisters and I had lots of fights over that, over, what was going on with my parents. And I was like, nope, I wrote it down. It's right here. This is what happened. But that really helped kind of set a stage. And I've had several people with major medical crises in their families, and they literally called and asked me to take off work and come to meetings with doctors to write notes. And I am not shy about saying, excuse me, I don't know how to spell that word. And the doctors stop and look at me like number one, she's taking notes. Number two, she's not part of the family. And number three, she wants to know how to spell that 47-letter word. Yeah. That's me. I'm that girl. You're not going to tell us we got something critical if we can't research it. So that kind of became a little bit of a theme. And after my parents passed away, which they passed away 12 days apart, my dad had cancer. My mom had a stroke years before, and we didn't realize she had cancer because the blessing was with the stroke, she was paralyzed. She didn't have pain. So that was good. But losing him back to back was really hard. And then you have to figure, what am I going to do now? I had to take off that hat of taking notes all the time and going to doctor's appointments and filtering information. And I still had my government career, but now what am I going to do? And I'll say for me, it was a, I'm going to go with easy transition, because I really knew that caregiving piece was a season of life. I knew it wasn't going to last forever. So the next little piece of that, of course, is emptying the house and selling the house and, distributing their assets, that kind of thing, which I had minimal input on that. but it was like the next phase. Like I'm always looking for the next step. What's the next step? What's the next phase? And I was visiting with a friend just this past weekend, and she's in the midst of caregiving and was sharing all this going on, and how much she's feeling it. Like she's feeling it emotionally, she's feeling it physically, all of the laundry, all of the caregiving, all of the watching out, like it's really weighing heavily on her. And I probably wasn't as supportive as I could be. Like, I don't know, maybe she thinks I was, I probably wasn't. But all I could think of is, this isn't going to last forever. And in that moment, I feel pretty confident that she feels like it's going to last forever. And it's not. And the people around me that I've seen in the caregiver mode, or even if they weren't much of a caregiver, but in the process of the end of life of a loved one, even if their caregiving was more loving versus physically doing the caregiving, those are just a little bit different, but not a lot bit different, just a little bit different. They're so entrenched in it, they can't see life beyond it. And the passing happens, the memorial service, funeral service happens, the estate is settled, and now who am I? Like, who am I? How am I going to show up? Who am I going to be in the world? I was not fortunate enough to be able to have children, but I have lots of nieces and nephews. My first babysitting job was in first grade. So, for those of you who are thinking she didn't have kids, she doesn't know. I was a kid, and I've been around kids my whole life, so I'm not stupid. But it's that train of thought of the empty nest. My kids are gone. Now what do I do? Like, now what do I do? My nephew has 3 daughters, and last summer, all 3 daughters literally left within a week of each other. So they went from 3 to 2 to 3 to 0, like just wham, bam. And several people were like, oh, what are they going to do? Well, after caregiving, it's kind of the same thing. Like, do you have a vision for your life after? And for the empty nesters, like my nephew and his bride that were really close, they just took off. They had a 25th anniversary. They went on a big cruise. They did this. Their marriage is stronger and better than ever. But they had a vision for what they wanted to do after they created these 3 amazing young women to be able to go out in the world. That was like their goal. That was their vision, and they did it. I probably should tell them that. I don't know that I've actually verbalized that to them. That's just gone on in my head. It's the same thing with caregiving. Like, my mom had a massive stroke. She was in the ICU from Sunday to Wednesday, and then Thursday they moved her to a hospital room, and then somebody had to be with her every single day, 24 hours a day, because for some stupid ass reason, sorry I cursed, they will not bring pain meds to someone unless they ask for them. She couldn't find the call button. It was on the left side of the bed. She was completely paralyzed on the left side. So even if she had bumped into it, she wouldn't have known it. She couldn't push it. She couldn't ask for pain meds. One of my sisters ran to her car and came up with a spiral notebook, and we started tracking, and we left that notebook with her until she left the hospital on when she got pain meds. Because it was 4 hours between, and about the 3 hour and 45 minute mark, she would start moaning because she was in so much pain. And we would have to call the nurse, and the nurse would have to come in, and the nurse would have to say, Mrs. Jaggers, would you like some pain medicine? And she would, very out of it, in a lot of pain, give enough of a yes to get pain meds. So somebody had to be there. And being the sister without children, it was easier for me to be there, right? Like, I could go right after work. I'd meet my husband for dinner, and then I would go up. Then my dad could go home, take care of the dog, take care of the house, whatever, take a nap, and then come back for overnight. And then I would work the next day. But like, that was my routine for almost 4 weeks. And then they moved her home. And it was like, dad can give her the pain meds. I can just check in every other day instead of every day. I can call instead of physically go. So I quickly made changes. When she was in ICU at the hospital where she was, you couldn't spend the night there. They didn't want you to. They tried to kick you out. Some people did, and that looked awfully miserable. Fortunately, we lived minutes away, so we would just go home. And my dad was adamant, man, the minute the ICU shut and they wanted him out, he went home. So he was like a perfect role model of what you need to do to take care of yourself as the caregiver. He's like, oh, if I can't be there with her, then I need to be home, taking care of the dog, taking care of the bills, taking a nap, getting something to eat. And so when you look forward, like, okay, so there's an end game. The bottom line is there's an end game. What do I want my life to look like after that? What little steps can I start taking now to start visualizing the life that I want? I have a 12-minute to success methodology, the WIN methodology. The first is wire your brain for positive thoughts, not negative. And the I is for imagine the life that you want. And it's not that there's not going to be grief. It's not that you're not going to be heartbroken. It's not that you don't want to forget the person. There's often this feeling in the grief cycle of, if I have joy, if I go have fun with my friends or have dinner out and have a nice evening, that somehow I'm not honoring them. Well, I think it's worse of an honor to sit home and mourn and grieve and never create a new life than it is to honor them by creating a new life and honoring them.
I'm going to interrupt you here for a second, Jen, because you've given us such a powerful story and so many important touch points that I want to highlight a little bit for our listeners. Number one, if I am ever that sick, I certainly want you there as a caregiver, someone who can be that attentive and write that fast, because medical professionals don't always want us to slow down and hear what's really being said. They just have an obligation to deliver it. So that's one important thing. Caregivers need someone, and people who are being cared for need someone to be there to interpret and find the language. And another thing that you mentioned, and it seems to be part of any helping profession, including caregiving, that natural path to caregiver, and the season finally where you have to figure out what the next path is. As a teacher, I was always so sad on the last day of class because you never could be absolutely sure there would be another one. And it was very hard to do that letting go part. Now, when you said 12, you mentioned that your parents passed within 12 days of each other. So I was wondering, is that the keystone for the 12 that you like to talk about? Could you share a little bit about that with me?
Let's write down the date and time that you just said that, Deborah, because I never put that together, ever.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, let's write that down. No, I never put that together. The 12 came because Jack Canfield, in his Success Principles book and training course, said take 100% responsibility for your life. And if 100% is too hard, take 5% more. And I didn't know what 5% was. I got very hung up on 5%. Like I'm a sleeper. I lost sleep over what's 5%. And then finally it came to me in a vision, and it was, my day was broken into 4-hour increments. I went to work and I had from 8 to noon, and then I had a break for lunch, and then I had 1 to 5. And then when I got home, I had from 6 to 10, and then I went to bed. 5% of 4 hours is 12 minutes. So if I want to start doing something for myself, living for myself, building my business, cleaning the house, because you take care of people and then there's stuff everywhere, right? And you've got to clean it out. It's overwhelming. And when we're in overwhelm, it's because we don't have a plan and we don't have a clear path to success. So if we can just focus 12 minutes on one thing, then we can start making headway and more headway and more headway. And sometimes if you commit to the 12 minutes, you do it longer because you get in a rhythm and you're like, okay, I can go longer, which is great. Sometimes you do the 12 minutes and you say, that's it. I'm done. Like I can't do anymore. That's fine too. But we tell ourselves we're going to do things, we don't do them. And then our subconscious mind, our brain, our inner self says, Jennifer is not the kind of woman who does what she says she's going to do. I'm not going to give her any urges or nudges or bright insight because she's not going to do it anyway. But when I start doing the things I say I'm going to do, then my brain says, look at Jennifer. That woman does what she says she's going to do. I'm going to remind her she said she was going to send out that email sequence. Let's just like drop that in. Email sequence. Did you do it yet? Did you do the thing? Did you do the thing? So that's kind of where that 12 minutes came from the Success Principles book by Jack Canfield. And I'm a certified Success Principles trainer. But that first principle, that's the one thing every successful person does, is take 100% responsibility for every aspect of their life. 100% too much, take 5%.
That sounds like a great, insightful solution. And it came about in a class. So education, continuing to learn is so important as you're transitioning from one identity to another. So I'm glad you said that as well. If you could go back and tell 10-year-old Jennifer something about her life that would help her to live the rest of it, can you think about what that might be?
So when my mom turned 50, she just went from being a mom and a grandma to stepping into her own. But it really took her till she turned 50 to do that. And she became just Miss Sassy Pants, do what she wants. Like, she always pretty much said what she wanted. But like, she took off that cloak of duty of, I have to run a house, I have to raise kids. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm 50. They're gone. I can do whatever I want. And I didn't see that until I was in college. She was in college when I turned 50, when she turned 50. But it's like, if I had grasped at 10 that you don't have to live every moment of your life out of a sense of duty, I would have had a lot more joy.
That is so powerful, and a lesson I think that's vital for every caregiver on the planet, which is probably going to be most of us before it's over, the way caregiving has become such a big demand. So I want
Yes.
to make sure that we take some time to give you an opportunity to talk about the programs you have so our listeners can connect with you and move that ball forward. So tell us, what do you got for us, Jennifer?
Yes. Okay. So I have a one-on-one program called Success Mastery. And in Success Mastery, it's based on high performance habits so that we can really get the clarity, the confidence, and have the influence we want over our life to do the things we're really meant to do. And within that, I am an energy healer. I use multiple modalities. And as you know, Deborah, we say we're going to do the thing, and then we hit like this invisible wall and we can't get it done. And we have energetic blocks. They're emotional blocks from the past. They're those little voices in your head, not the bad voices, but your own voice, which is bad sometimes. But you know that you're not quite good enough. You can't quite do it. And with the energy work, we can quickly and easily identify and clear those out so you can reach those goals, so you can create the life that you were destined to lead and have that joy, experience joy and happiness, and be the best you can be in your time on this earth. So that's Success Mastery. If you're really serious about moving forward, I have an easy link, yoursuccesscall.com. And I don't open that up for just anybody to be able to get on my calendar, but this is such an important podcast, an important topic, yoursuccesscall.com. And we can talk about where you want to go, what you want to do, and I will do a little bit of coaching and healing in that call so that you're ready to move forward, whether you work with me or not. But I love to give, I love to help. And anybody who's listening, you're either in the caregiver role, you're going to be, or you were in the past. Like, I see you, I hear you, and I've been there too.
So important to make a decision and say, I want to transform. I want to do some things differently. And I will tell you that having tried this a little bit, 12 minutes is an easy pull. So if you're resisting it for some reason, give yourself a break so that you can get started and be the person and become the person that you want to be. So I want to thank you so much for being my guest today, Jennifer. Is there anything else you'd like to tell our audience before we sign off for today?
You are destined for more success than you have ever envisioned, and today's the day. Step into it.
I'm delighted to hear that. And we've had a wonderful interview, and I hope you'll go back and listen to the first one by Jennifer. There's a lot more detail there as well. And together they make a great companion piece about how to transform yourself and move forward 12 at a time. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for joining me today on The Caregiving Secret. I love sharing insights and stories to empower you on your caregiving journey. If you like what you hear, you can dive deeper by picking up a copy of my pamphlet, Non-Negotiables for Caregivers. Go to my website, deborahgreenhut.com, and click on the link for Non-Negotiables for Caregivers. Until next time, keep sharing, keep caring, and remember, you're not alone on this journey. Thank you for listening.